Hey everyone, welcome to our 39th episode of Brew Talk with Mr.Beer. My name is Robert. I'll be your host again for today's show. Appreciate you taking the time to join us, watch us today. Hope you learned something, hope you find something exciting. Before we dive into our topic, little things I want to talk about first. As always, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, do something on it so we know you enjoyed it. If you have anything you want to see us talk about, please just let us know. For those of you there in the Facebook group, I know that we did the live Q&A. That was really cool. I was able to watch that. Ashley and Zach did a good job with that. So we'll try to keep those going, in the future. So if you're not in our Facebook group, it's another reason to join because we're starting to do a lot more things in there and a lot more just one-on-one things, which is really cool. Zach and Ashley are really doing, especially Ashley, they're doing a really good job in there and just keeping it up to date and keeping it cruising. But yeah, the live Q&A was really fun for all those able to watch. We'll try to do that more often, and every once in a while, if we have a question there, we can always pull off on more detail on one of these videos and offer it out to everybody. What am I drinking? I have our Classic American Light Deluxe refill. It's been aging for a while, so it's a little darker. I'm not sure how old the bottle is. It was just sitting in the fridge back there, but it's actually really good. I mean, when you get those deluxe refills, they really take it up a notch because we added, you get the 2 packs of LME plus your can. It really kicks the ABV and the flavor up, which brings me as a good segue into our topic today. So our topic that I've seen pretty often in the Facebook group is basically how can I increase the ABV in my beer, which is something that people want to do. Everyone's kind of always want to know the way to kick up the ABV to create something that'll kind of leave you stumbling or mumbling around after only a few of them. So there's some kind of simple ways to do it and some more difficult ways to do it, obviously. But we thought that we would talk about kind of the simple ways that you can do it and things that are in your house that you can use, around there to kick up that ABV that you can add to your beer. There are a few things that I wanted to point out before I dive into what the actual things are. The first, you always want to make sure, we always recommend brewing the refills and recipes as is. I mean, we've created those formulations, those instructions, everything that's in there so you get the best beer possible. And this is especially important if you are a new brewer. If you have like a few batches under your belt, I'd still keep brewing a little more before you start adding different wacky things and stuff like that, because you just want to get that process down. Because you get the home brewing process down of the mostly like the sanitizing and the temperature control and all that, then you're good to go, because that is where once you start trying different things where you might overlook something if you're not fully familiar with the process. So make sure that you are good to go. You got your sanitation down pat, using good water, your temps in good control, and everything. All those major variables that can affect the outcome of your beer are really stable and controllable before you start adding other things, because if you start adding something you're not used to and you don't sanitize something properly, or you forget to sanitize something and you just get a bad beer, then it's not fun for anybody. Also to note that you should obviously always chase flavor, not ABV. I mean, it's good to kick up the ABV, but you could pour like a whole bag of sugar into your beer and you'd have like 11% beer, but it would taste terrible. That would not be very good at all. So just make sure that you're always mirroring what you're adding into the beer for the flavor that you're going for in the final beer that you want. All right, so what can you use? The first one is pretty obvious. It's how kind of all of our recipes are structured, is like malt extract in general. So adding more malt extract, either hop, liquid, or dry, will increase the ABV of your beer and also add a little more flavor, a little more complexity, a little more mouthfeel, all that kind of stuff to that beer that you get from using malt extract. This is kind of one of the better options to add more beer. That's why we have like the deluxe refills, and then some of like our big recipes have 2, maybe 3 cans of HME that are in there. Make sure you kick that up. And we also offer, for those you don't know, we offer LME, DME, and HMEs as single standalone items. So if you go to our website and you go to the ingredients page, they're all listed in there. You can filter on the left-hand side. If you're on desktop, through the categories. If you're on mobile, I think you should hit the sort by. You can see it'll say light dry malt, a liquid malt extract, dried malt extract, and hop malt extract. So you can buy them singly. So if you want to kind of build and create your own recipes, that's definitely a good way to do that. There's also other things you can do, like you can add more like steeping grains, especially grains, and go that route. All that kind of stuff is kind of for like the brewing stuff. There's also like dextrose and all kinds of stuff like that you can add as well. So now we're getting into kind of some household items that you can add. These are things you can find at your grocery store. If you don't have them, most people probably just have them sitting away in their cabinet somewhere. First, we'll just start with sugar. So you can add like table sugar, corn sugar, brown sugar. You just want to be careful, like I said earlier, with the amounts of sugar that you're adding, because too much, table sugar can kind of create an off flavor in your beer. So you just want to make sure that you're following, you're just being appropriate to what we're saying here for how much to add. So when you're adding these sugars or different types of adjuncts, as we call them, to your beer, you want to add them to the 4 cups of water that you're bringing to a boil. So if you're brewing our Classic American Light, you're like, oh man, I want to add like just some corn sugar to that to bump up the ABV a little bit. You put your 4 cups of water into your pot. Once that's coming to a boil, you add in your sugar, mix it till dissolved, and follow the instructions, the standard refill instructions, rest of the way through there. And it's also kind of a good idea to kind of pair, like I said, the type of sugar that you're using with the type of beer that you want. So that's why I said like table sugar and like the Classic American Light, or corn sugar, the Classic American Light. I like a dark brown sugar and like the Oktoberfest or the Irish Stout or the Bewitch, like an amber ale, the porter. Those would be great things. So just kind of think about that process of the kind of beer that you want to drink in the end when you're brewing that. Also, you can add, we recommend adding about 1 to 2 cups max of any of these adjuncts we're going to list out here. And each cup will add about 1% to 1.5% ABV to your beer, depending on what it is, if it's a syrup or a solid or vice versa. One thing that a tip from Zach to note about the sugar is that you cannot use sugar substitutes, so they just don't ferment. So things like stevia or Splenda, they won't work. You can't use those, so don't even try. All right, so now let's get into syrups and other liquids that are kind of out there. And there's a lot of different things you can add here. The few that we listed are honey, maple syrup, agave nectar, and corn syrup. Again, these will add 1% to 1.5% ABV for how much you are adding per cup to your beer. And again, when adding these, you'll do the same process. You'll add it to the 4 cups of water that's coming to a boil, mix it up till it's dissolved. And also, again, here with these, you want to be able to pair these with the right type of beer that you're using. It's like the Classic American Light, the American Lager. I think some of our recipes, what is one? We have like there's a honey, or we have like the Let It Be, and there's another honey beer. Basically, it's like taking a classic or an American lager and adding in like a cup of honey or something like that. Agave nectar is really cool. I think we have one agave beer. Corn syrup works well. Maple syrup works really well. I know a lot of people experiment with that. I see a lot of people in the Facebook group that use that as well, make some good beers, and they can add some interesting flavors to your beers as well. So it's just something that you'll have to play and mess with, so you can kind of get what your own tastes are and see what you like. If you have any questions or unsure what to add, how to add, when to add it, how much to add, I would suggest before you do it, contact us. You should either give us a call Monday through Friday, shoot us an email, social media, contact us. We can get back to you and just let you know, hey, you should probably do this or this. That way you're getting a great beer and we're offering you some good advice so you can get a good beer and have a great experience. That's going to wrap it up for our show today. Appreciate you taking the time to watch us. Hopefully you watch all the way through. Like I said, wherever you're watching the platform or the video, whatever platform you're on, like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever it is that platform offers, give it a little heart. We do post these on our blog page, Mr.Beer.com/blog. You can go there and find the text, and I'll have everything laid out here of kind of what I've talked about, all the notes for the video. And also, our blog is a great resource. We've been doing that since about 2014, 2015. There's some great info in there. We're kind of going back through and cleaning some stuff up. So then there was a search feature in there. So if you have any questions and you're unsure and it's like a Saturday or Sunday, we're not available, go into the blog, go to the search bar and type your questions. Hopefully you can find something that's some good information in there for you. That's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll be back next week. I will have a guest back on next week, so it will not be me by myself, which we are looking forward to. We got some cool, exciting new things we're coming out with next week as we kick off to start a stout month in February, which if you're a stout fan, it's a huge deal, huge thing. So keep an eye out for some new recipes and some other fun stuff that will be launching at the end of next week. So hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you drink some great home brews. Cheers, guys.